Okay, here he is. We are going through the New Testament in chronological order, and we are in the book of Romans, chapter 14. And I think we'll like this one here. This is really about getting along, something we all need to do, don't you think? Chapter 14 of Romans. Except the one whose faith is weak, without quarreling over disputable matters. Well, I don't know how long you may or may not have been in Christianity as a Christian, hanging around the church. The church is just those who are called out and gathered together. And boy, if you do, there's disputable matters. Different people come from different places and they have all kinds of opinions about different things, based upon their backgrounds and their understanding and their struggles and their proclivities. And so it says one person's faith. Now, this is about their faith. And their faith is about their conscience. Your conscience sort of forms these things that you can and cannot do. Now, there are some things you obviously just can't do. You can't steal. But these are disputable matters. Some people call them secondary matters. Some people call them non-salvation matters. One person's faith allows him to eat anything, but another whose faith is weak only eats vegetables. Now, this isn't talking about vegetarians necessarily in the day that we live in and the reasons that people would be vegetarians. However, some of those same issues, some people are vegetarians because of their health. Some people are vegetarians because of their ethics and what they understand about responsibility to the earth and what they understand about animals. And so their conscience causes them to not eat meat, to eat vegetables for a number of reasons, maybe even including health reasons. But there, we'll get back to it. The one who eats everything must not treat the one with contempt who does not, and the one who does not eat everything must not judge the one who does, for God has accepted them. And who are you to judge someone else's servant? To their own master, servants stand or fall. And they will stand because the Lord is able to make them stand. So we're going to stand because the Lord will help us. But in the ancient culture, in the ancient Roman culture, they worshipped a lot of gods, a lot of idols. Of course, their understanding of the universe wasn't the way that we might understand the universe. Right now, the way that people understand the universe and the creation of the universe is they either believe one of two things. They believe that God, the creator, the maker of heaven and earth, he created the earth. Or they believe some sort of theory, some sort of scientific theory, and there's two sort of ways to look at that. Well, in the ancient world, there were lots of different ways to look at it because a lot of people worshipped different gods and worshipped different idols. And so they understood that the sun and the moon and the stars were bigger than us. And so maybe they play something to do with the creation. Maybe they have something to do with our lives because they would use the moon to measure their days. They would understand that the sun would either cause them to have crops that year or not have crops that year, the weather. So they would worship the gods of nature and they would offer idols to them. And a lot of the idols that they worship, they would worship meat. And so people wouldn't eat that meat because it had been offered to idols. And so some people would be like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just eating vegetables. And other people like, that's nothing. And so we needed to respect each other. One person considers one day more sacred than another. Another one considers every day alike. Each should be convinced in their own mind. Now, of course, a lot of the Jewish people were worshiping on the Sabbath. The Christians worshipped on Sunday because Jesus rose from the dead on a Sunday. The Apostle Paul is going to say, doesn't matter, worship on Tuesday if you want. John Wesley used to carry communion around with him, and anytime he met anybody, he had communion with them and had a communion service. So for John Wesley, 24/7 was the time to meet and to set a time aside. But whoever regards one day as special does so to the Lord. Whoever eats meat does so to the Lord, for they give thanks to God, and whoever abstains does so to the Lord and gives thanks to God. So whether you abstain, whether you eat it, giving thanks to God, thanking God that you've given this to me, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and God receives that, and so we're able to do it. But you can't judge somebody else who doesn't do the same exact thing that you do. For none of us lives unto ourselves alone, and none of us dies to ourselves alone. Our life and our death, we don't do it alone, we're living together. And so the whole idea here is learning how to get along together. If we live for the Lord, and if we die for the Lord.